Shalom, my people. How y'all feeling? Shalom, family. Shalom, Shabbatah. Hey, I was just reading this apocalypse of Abraham, and remember when we say apocalypse, we're just talking about the revelations, the end times revelations. I'm reading out your pseudepigrapha, the Old Testament. This is actually the volume one, and I just wanted to share something with y'all. It's late. Hopefully, you put the kids to bed. I just want to share something with you real fast, if you don't mind. I'm reading about the apocalypse of Abraham, the end times, the revelations of Abraham. But I find it interesting because it's where Abraham had rejected idols from his father. His father Terah was carving idols and selling them, and so Abraham's rejection of idolatry. Okay, and during the time of his rejection of these idols, uh, the Most High came to him and spoke to him. Okay, so I wanted to share some things with you now. In the beginning of Abraham's rejection of the idols, his father Terah, like I said, was making carving idols and giving them to Abraham to go sell them. Okay, but I just want to speed it up to verse 9. Okay, to verse 9, where it just breaks down something. I just want to read it to you and get your opinion. Okay, it says, "Then a voice came speaking to me twice, saying, Abraham, Abraham. And I said, Here I am. And he said, Behold, it is I, fear not, for I am before the world and mighty. The God who created previously, before the light of the age, I am the protector for you, and I am your helper. Go get me a 3-year-old heifer, a 3-year-old she-goat, a 3-year-old ram, a turtle dove, and a pigeon, and make me a pure sacrifice. And in this sacrifice I will place the ages. I will announce to you guarded things." Okay, so he's telling them that I will basically reveal to you the things that have been hidden. And you will see great things which you have not seen, because you desire to search for me. And that's the thing. Those who desire to search for the Most High, through diligence, will be revealed the things that are hidden to all men. Okay, just through studying to show yourself approved. Okay, so it says, because you desire to search for me, and I called you my beloved, but for 40 days abstain from every kind of food cooked by fire, and from drinking of wine, and from anointing yourself with oil. Okay, and then you shall set out for me the sacrifice which I have commanded you, in the place which I will show you on a high mountain. And there will I show you the things which were made by the ages, and by my word, and affirmed, created, and renewed. I will announce to you in them that will come upon those who have done evil and just things in the race of men. So he's basically telling them, he's giving them an apocalypse, an end time of revelations of what will happen in the end to evil, right? So in verse 10 it says, "And it came to pass when I heard the voice pronouncing such words to me, that I looked this way and that way." So Abraham heard the words, and he wanted to see who was actually in his ear, right? So he looked this way and that way, and he didn't see anything, right? And behold, there was no breath of man. There was no breath. He didn't feel nobody. He didn't see anybody, right? And my spirit was amazed, and my soul fled from me, and I became like a stone, and I fell face down upon the earth. for there was no longer strength in me to stand up on the earth. And while I was still face down on the ground, I heard the voice speaking. Go, IOL. Go, IOL, of the same name, through the mediation of my inevitable name. Consecrate this man for me. Consecrate this man for me and strengthen him against his trembling. So, for those of you who don't understand what I just said, basically, the voice that he heard, right, which was the Most High, he spoke to an angel, okay, or what we call a dragoon, an angel, right? And he said, go, IL, of the same name. Okay, so this angel of the same name, through the meditation of my inevitable name. Okay, this is a meditation through his name. So when we speak Husha or Hawa, then we speak Yahweh Shai, then we understand that this is a meditation of his inevitable name. Okay, so you put the breath with the name, right? Like Abraham or Sarai to Sarah, abbreviating it with the Most High name. But when we talk about his angel, or his angels, we talk about Yahusha, right? Hawa or Yahusha or Yahweh. You understand? Bringing the assembly into his name. So he said, consecrate this man for me and strengthen him against his trembling. The angel he sent to me is in the likeness of man. Okay? The angel he sent to me in the likeness of man came, and he took me by my right hand and stood me on my feet. And he said to me, stand up, Abraham, friend of God, who has loved you. Okay? Let human trembling not enfold you. For lo, I am sent to you to strengthen you and to bless you in the name of our Creator. Creator of heavenly and earthly things, who has loved you. Be bold and hasten to him. I am Ioel, and I was called so by him who causes those with me on the seventh expanse. Okay? The seventh expanse. Okay? A key word is seven. Okay? Seventh expanse. On the firmament to shake. A power through the medium of his inevitable name in me. Okay? Of his inevitable name in me. I am the one who has been charged according to his commandment to restrain the threats of the living creatures, of the cherubim against one another. And I teach those who carry the song through the medium of man's night of the seventh hour. There we go again, seven, very important, for is the completion. I am appointed to hold the Leviathans, because through me is subjugated the attack and menace of every reptile. I am ordered to loosen Hades and to destroy those who wondered at the dead. I am the one who ordered your father's house to be burned with him, for he honored the dead. I am sent to you now to bless you, and the land which he, whom you have called the Eternal One, has prepared for you. Okay, so he came to bless you and the land. Okay, for you. For your sake I have indicated the way of the land. Stand up. He says, for your sake I have indicated the way of the land. Stand up, Abraham. Go boldly Be very joyful and rejoice, and I also rejoice with you. For a venerable of the command, behold, I am assigned to be with you and with the generation. With is predestined to be born from you. And with me, Michael blesses you forever. Now he's talking about Melchizedek. All right. Blesses you forever. Be bold and go. All right. So those of you, be bold when you profess the Creator's name and His assembly. Okay. Be bold when you profess the Creator's name and His Son. All right. Yahusha, Hameshiach. All right. Regardless of what anyone says, the truth is an apocalypse. The truth will be revealed. And I stood up and saw him. Okay, now we're in verse 11. This is Abraham's apocalypse of Abraham. And I stood up and saw him who had taken my right hand and set me on my feet. The appearance of his body was like sapphire, and the aspect of his face was like a chrysolite. That's like a brownish color. A chrysolite. Yellowish greenish together, a darkish brownish color. And the hair of his head was like snow, like wool. And the clothing of his garments was purple. Alright? Purple is for the blood. Alright? It's for the mem. And a golden staff was in his right hand. And he said to me, Abraham. And I said, here is your servant. And he said, let my appearance not frighten you, nor my speech trouble your soul. Come with me, and I will go with you visible until the sacrifice, but after the sacrifice, invisible forever. Be bold and go. Okay? And he went, and we went, the two of us alone together, 40 days and nights. And I ate no bread and drank no water, because my food was to see the angel who was with me. And his discourse with me was my drink. We came to the Most High's mountain, glorious, Horeb, right? Horeb, or Mount Zion. And I said to the angel, singer of the Eternal One, behold, I have no sacrifice with me, nor do I know a place for an altar on the mountain. So how shall I make the sacrifice? And he said, look behind you. And I looked behind me, and behold, all the prescribed sacrifices were following us, the calf, the she-goat, the ram, the turtle dove, and the pigeon. And the angel said to me, Abraham. And I said, here I am. And he said to me, slaughter all of these and divide the animals exactly into halves, but do not cut the birds apart. Okay, so it just finished with the sacrifice. But what I wanted to basically allow you to hear is basically the precept of Daniel chapter 7. Daniel chapter 7 and 9, and Revelations chapter 1 and 14. Okay, those are precepts to match what's going on with Abraham of the apocalypse of Abraham. Okay, the Revelations. So if we go over to Daniel 7 and 9, you can see what this precept is talking about. Okay. Okay, now we covered this in the actual war scrolls. about the war scrolls, when you talk about Daniel's vision, okay, and who took out the four beasts, okay, the Ancient of Days reign, okay. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, right? Now this one states that it was purple because you gotta understand it. That means it was bloody. All right, for this same Ancient of Days come the judge, right? Or the angel or dragoon, right? Come to judge the righteous and the wicked. So, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair on his head was pure wool. Okay, was like pure wool. His throne was like a fiery flame, and his wheels burning like fire. Okay, a fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered, okay, unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were open. Okay, the books were open. All right. So who he's talking about? The thousand on thousand. We talking about that ministered to him was the 144,000 that we get over in Revelations. Okay, so this is a fiery angel, right, coming with the 144,000, right, to judge the wicked and the righteous, right? So when you get to Revelations, we're talking about the same thing. Okay, Revelations, we're talking about the same thing. We're talking about the same thing. Okay, his head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were of a flame of fire, and his feet was like unto fine brass, as if they burned in the furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. As the sound of many waters. As the sound of many waters. Okay? And he had in his right hand 7 stars. Okay? And out of his mouth went a sharp two-edged sword. Okay? That two-edged sword is to judge the righteous and the wicked. And those stars are what? Those stars are what? Angels, right? Those stars are Melchizedek. Those stars are priests, right? Mouth went a sharp two-edged sword, and his countenance was as the sun shineth in his strength. Okay? So understand that. So when we talk about Ezekiel, so when we understand that, right, when we try to comprehend that, when we seek for understanding, when we seek for discernment, right, when we seek for discernment. Now remember the letters from Jeremiah to Ezekiel. Okay, now let's try to find it. We just freestyling, so I think it's in Ezekiel, the end of chapter 9 or chapter 10. Okay, now just like Abraham, adulterers are killed, idlers are killed. Okay, just like Abraham when he was rejecting the idols. Okay, so now we have in Ezekiel where he confirms the same thing. All right, let's go to chapter 9 verse 10. It says, and as for me also, mine eyes shall not spare, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense their way upon their head. Okay, and behold, the man clothed. All right, let's highlight this. And behold, the man clothed with linen. Okay, He had his garment on with his fringes, right? With linen which had the inkhorn by his side, reported the matter, saying, I have done as thou hast commanded me. So what is the inkhorn? The inkhorn is the actual, it says a cup of ink standing, but we know this ink is to write names in a book, right? The ink is to write names in a book, so this inkhorn, it symbolizes the book of life. Okay, the book of life and the book of death, right? Let's go up to see what we're talking about. Okay, look what was told to the man in linen. Okay, if you go to 9:4, it says, and the Lord said unto him, okay, the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, of Yaharusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Okay, and to the others he said, in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Okay, so now he's talking about, remember, he came with 6 other dragoons or angels, and those 6 other ones he told to do what? He said, and go, and to the others he said, in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eye spare, neither have ye pity. Okay, it says, slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Okay, begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. Okay, before the house, before the tabernacle. So they were coming to judge the wicked. Okay, and the man in linen was coming to judge the righteous. Okay, so he said in 9:2, he said, well, I'll just start from 9. All right, Ezekiel 9:1. He said, he cried also in my ears with a loud voice, saying, cause them that have charge over the city to draw near, even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand. And behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, okay, which lieth toward the north, and every man a slaughter weapon in his hand. And one man among them was clothed with linen. Okay, so that made 7. 7. All right, what he talk about the 7 gate is symbolic. Okay, with a rider's inkhorn. Okay, with the book of life by his side. And they went in and stood beside the brazen altar. All right. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about? I mean, that's confirmation. That's foundation for your understanding. What are we talking about, people? What are we talking about, family? You have to see deeper than what we are seeing. We have to understand. We have to embody his word. We have to eat the scroll. Eat the entire scroll to prophesy. All right? Eat the entire scroll to prophesy. Why are we dying? Why are we dying when we can live eternally? Okay? Eat the scroll, my people. Eat the scroll to get a better understanding. Let no man dictate will you live or die. Let no man dictate will you live or die. All right? Will you live with the eternal Father, or will you die? Will you spiritually die? Let no man dictate that. Okay? Study to show yourself approved. All right? And seek Zion. Seek Zion, because that is the only way for you to live. Seek Zion, family. Shalom.